Welcome to season 2, episode 4 of the Embrace the Weight Strength and Numbers podcast. With Markus is back again. We're just generally talking about strongman stuff, equipment, recovery, and just whatever kind of topics come up.
And was Justin injuring himself.
Yeah. and yeah.
Now, let's start with that.
I was going to say that was an amazing segue, Marcus. Let's definitely go with, let's talk to Justin about injuries. Justin,
so
how do you feel about injuries?
It's basically like this. So the 2 weeks leading up to, like, when I hurt myself, right, I was just crushing everything. Like, everything I touched pretty much moved. And extra. So I was just feeling basically bulletproof. And I think I was building up a lot of, generally a lot of strength everywhere. And I was doing the farmer's carries. And I had gotten up to like a new PR. But I'm just not used to moving fast. Like, I haven't ran since high school. So what happened was I got moving too fast. And then I realized I haven't ran in 20 years. I just kind of ate shit because I forgot how to run because I was so inactive for like an entire decade. I'm just like, I don't know how to stop. And then just like I crossed the line, dropped the farmer's carries, and then just slammed into the floor. That stopped. I think I got incredibly lucky though, because out of all the ways it could have, or what could have gone wrong in my arm, it just kind of popped out. But nothing broke or tore when it popped out. So I just kind of like got up, just couldn't really move my arm. It was just kind of like dangling there. So, yeah, I did what anyone else would do. I went home and looked up how to pop your arm back and socket on YouTube. And watched a couple videos and then put one in like 50% speed and just sort of followed along and felt around and then just popped it back into place. And then... yeah, it's
the way that you described it to me, I assumed it was your shoulder that popped out. And when you said it was your elbow, I couldn't believe it. How the hell do you pop out your elbow?
I was in the same boat as you, Marcus. The elbow thing was confusing as hell to me because I'm like, I don't even understand it.
Oh, so when you think about it, when you're holding a farmer's carry, right? Like your arm straight down like this, right? So when you drop a farmer's carry and fall, your natural thing is to just rotate your arm. So you have like that perfect 45-degree bend. So if it's slightly inward and pressure's applied here, then this part here just goes that way. And just pops out a socket, and then it just dangles beside you until you pop it back in.
And that's the only set that you actually had to send a video to me, and you didn't.
Yeah, because see, I was feeling so good that day. I thought I could go up in weight, and I was just gonna add like the little PR plates, like 2.5 pounds, and then so I felt like I had another set, and I was gonna record, and then now that happened one set before my max, or else I would have the full footage of me eating shit and falling on the ground.
I kind of wish you would have that because then,
dude, but I was moving.
We could add that clip to that empty slot wherever it's at here, and we could absolutely have that, and that could be even the thumbnail. Just you, I guess you falling.
Yeah, no, I was hauling ass on the 225s. Like, I couldn't believe how fast. I think with me, if I can lift it, I can walk as fast as if it's weightless, I feel like. The hardest part for the yoke or farmers is getting the weight up and then getting into a stable platform. But once I'm in that platform, I can haul.
I just have to send you a video of me doing farmers just to show you the correct form and so on that I want you to work on.
Oh, okay.
Once your arm is fixed.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I think what I'm gonna do now for a lot of cardio is I'm gonna do a lot of football drills and just learn to safely move at like higher speeds. It really was. I just got my feet tangled up and couldn't keep my legs moving as fast. Because when you shift the weight forward, it's almost like a treadmill where it sets the speed that you move because it's pulling you in a forward direction. And so I don't think I could have normally ran as fast as I was doing the farmer's carry because the weight was also pulling me forward. And yeah. So
You should just learn how to fall.
yeah. I was also going to do some football drills, just to open up my hips and just get used to like kind of moving for the moving stuff for my cardio, because there's a lot of good football drills for just getting lighter on your feet and not eating shit.
Yeah, and imagine if you actually gain that speed on a yoke, and you almost walked a 600-pound yoke. So, dude, that's also amazing.
Yeah, that yoke, I can't believe it moved. Like everything, the last 2 weeks, every weight I touched, I couldn't believe how easy it moved. Like it felt like someone else. And like when I did the deadlift for 2, I was looking at the bar and I'm like, this isn't me. Like this isn't the kind of weight and sets that I do. And then it just moved like nothing. So I'm still not even visually used to how fast the weights have been climbing.
You must have a really good coach.
He does.
Does he? Does he have a pretty good coach, Marcus?
Oh,
That's good, though.
His motivation and his drive as well. It's actually quite amazing.
Oh, I believe it. I have conversations with Justin. It's yeah.
For the people watching, I'm training Justin. So yeah. No, his progression since we started training, it's insane. Like he struggled with what weight did you fail your single the other day? It was on a 470 or something, without when you went completely raw.
Oh, it was lower. Like it was supposed to be something like you had in the program, like 370, 365. Yeah.
370. And you did it completely raw, and basically failed. And the next week, I kept it. I actually added 5 pounds to his program, and he got figure 8 straps and did a triple on that 375.
That's progression there, and I've been trying to talk Justin into putting the straps on for a couple months. I believe. I believe it's been a couple months we've had that conversation. Like just use them.
Yeah.
I get the theory behind not using them, but what I didn't ever understand, just do it. You can move more weight. Your body can handle the weight, but.
Well, the thing was when I first started, my grip was my bottleneck in everything, and then it just kind of stopped being my bottleneck. So now there's no reason, because yeah, I really tortured my grip for like 2 years, and I think it's progressed way past where I need it for most things right now. So straps just let me move more weight with my back and legs. So
yeah, it gives you that plus 50 points in strength.
Straps are the one thing that I think are like a cheat code. I will always say it because my oldest son, he struggled pulling 135. I let him put my straps on, and he was like, "That was easy." I was like, "I'm telling you," and I told him he needed to work on his grip, but he doesn't care as much about being able to grab the bar, double overhand and pull it up.
Yeah, well, it's the same as putting vinyls on your on your sports car, so it adds like 5 horsepower per sticker.
yeah.
It's more like 10 horsepower with straps with me.
Yes, yeah.
So it's 100 pounds. I can pull 100 pounds more with straps than without them. 500 without straps, double overhand. 600 with. Is what I can do.
Actually, my double overhand is on a 440, which is actually shit. And
Have you tried pushing it, or is that just the last one you remember?
No, that's the last one I actually started pushing. That's before we went into lockdown.
Okay.
So I did a 220 pounds 440 pounds in the gym. Because I've actually never tried to see how high I can go with overhand, double overhand. And I just thought, okay, let's try and build that grip strength for the overhand deadlifts, and started on. Yes, I actually started on a weak weight because I did reps on a 300 pound and got 2 reps on a 350 pound. Then went over to I think it was 400 pounds and got only 1 rep. So failed the first time I did a 440 with double overhand, and the next week I tried it again and got it. And yeah, just couldn't go higher from there.
I unintentionally trained my grip for deadlift because I failed a 435 deadlift the first time I ever tried it. So because of my grip, and I had to put straps on.
Oh,
And
and you got giant hands.
yeah, I do have big hands. But
Or at least you didn't went into a competition with a 530 max deadlift, which you pulled 2 weeks prior to the competition, and now you have to go for a max deadlift in the competition. You pull your max weight in the competition, and they say no, you can only jump in 45 pounds. Fuck, okay. And then you stiff leg deadlift a 573.
it's like that.
Yeah,
That would be.
That happened to me at my first SA Strongest Man.
And you stiff legged it.
So just you just zoned out, or what happened? What was with just like purely stiff legging that?
I don't know. Like with you that discovered the roll, which helps you better. For the smaller guys, we don't need to roll the bar. And I had the bar about 2 meters in front of me trying to roll it back, and it just slammed into my shins, complete dead stop, and I just stood up. The officials just stood there. It's like, okay, good lift. And he got up, congratulated me, and said, dude, I've never seen someone do a 260 kilogram stiff leg deadlift in my life. Like, me neither. Did I just do that? It's like, you just did that. But yeah, me and the guy that actually was left for the max deadlift on that weight, we both pulled around the 240 kgs, which was my max, and his max weight in training was 245 kilograms. So when they said we can only jump in 45 pounds, we just thought, okay, well, let's just do it for the fun and shits and giggles, and just share the points. Let's both fail the next lift and see where it goes from there. He failed the next lift, and I got it with a stiff leg.
That's crazy.
So pulled
back
the
and
PR and
hamstring.
won the event.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Actually,
back and
not my
hamstrings.
back and hamstring. My traps. It felt like my traps were actually tearing out of my skull.
Oh wow.
Yeah, immediately after, went to the sports massage therapist, lied on the bed, let them massage me, and she said, go to the chiro, who was also there. The chiro sorted me out, went back to the sports MT, and that was just before we had to do a yoke walk. And my yoke was my heaviest yoke I've ever done, which was a 727 pound. And just after I almost tore my traps out of my skull.
See, I've yet to experience a yoke.
And right after my chiro and sports massage therapy, so I moved it 1.5 meters, which was funny because I also won that event. But I know it was insane.
Sounds like you're a show up kind of guy on the day.
I just don't like losing. I don't like losing.
I fully understand that.
Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you play Scrabble, if I lose, I'm a bad loser.
I understand that as well.
Yep. I think a lot of people do the competitive drive you on a lot of days where you're like, I wonder if whoever I'm competing with next, I wonder if they're doing this right now. Like, you're like thinking about, you'd rather put in the time now because you don't want to be thinking like, yeah, I wish I would have done that during competition. So you have that competitive driving you. So talk about the pound for pound competition. Like, since that's like the next nearest thing you're going for.
Yeah, so official strongman is having a pound for pound world's strongest man competition, which you can submit your max deadlift without a suit, but you are allowed a belt and straps, and your max overhead press, which I think they said the weight height can't exceed 36 inches or something. But yeah, so tires are allowed basically, and normal axle wheels are also allowed. So yeah, you can either basically do it with the overhead press. You can do it with a log, an axle, a barbell, anything that you can use two hands to basically press overhead. So I decided to see where I can end up as a pound for pound world's strongest man athlete. Still training for my max weights, getting close. I've been comfortably getting my 573 pound deadlift, so it's starting to get better. And yeah, I'm still training from home because we don't have gyms open at the moment because of the COVID, and South Africa is still in a lockdown. So I can't do all the accessories that I've used to do with my deadlifts, which actually got me as strong as I was in my deadlift. So I have to try different things to adapt, basically. And yeah, so getting more plates tomorrow at least, which is going to be fun. And I can actually train from a proper uh, Olympic plate competition weight size, because I'm basically training on a 1 inch deficit the whole time now. And I think that is sort of fucking me up in my lifts. But yeah, so we're still working on the deadlift. And yeah, overhead press, I'm cycling between an axle press and a log press, both aiming for the same weight, which on the log I got it to 86 a few months ago. But since then, I actually almost pressed it out twice, I think, and just couldn't get that lockout on that weight again. So still struggling to get back on that weight. And with my axle, last week I almost locked out with my 273 pounds. But also haven't trained axle in quite a long time. Recently started about, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I started training the axle again, just to get that form and basically just the technique right. So yeah, I still have 4 weeks before they put off the cutoff date for submitting your videos on Official Strongman, which the videos should consist of your actual lift, you weighing yourself to show your body weight, and to weigh the implements so that they can see this is the actual weight that you lifted. So that's all got to be in one video submitted on the site on your profile. And yeah, most of the people that I've seen posting the videos are just posting a 1 rep max from a competition or something and nothing else. So I think most of the people just want to see where they will rank. And then there's the actual people that want to compete in the competition as per se. And also the pound for pound is a qualifier for the official Strongman Games. So yeah, and that's the only competition that I will drop weight again.
The official Strongman Games.
Yeah, I want to go for under 80 kilograms.
How big of a cut is that for you at this point?
About 7 kilograms. It's not a lot, but still a lot.
Yeah. And what do you have left to do in the 80 kilograms that you want to do?
What do you mean?
Or were there any kind of like records and stuff you still want to do in the 80? Or is everything focused on 90?
For now, it's mostly focused on 90. And if I can compete at official Strongman Games, then I want to at least be top 10. So that's my goal for then. For just under 80 kilogram goals, basically, is to extend my Africa record on the deadlift, which is currently sitting on 280 kilograms. And yeah, but the athletes in South Africa and Africa basically are getting a lot stronger on their deadlifts at the moment. We have few guys that are getting close to that weight, and one guy that actually came from powerlifting who recently did, I think, 660 pounds for 5 reps, but tap and go and so on. So I don't believe in tap and go, but still, it works. If it works, it works. But I think if we actually get into a competition and he has to do a proper deadlift for reps, he's gonna fail hard because in his training he only almost trains tap and go deadlifts. And I've seen him actually at last year's Africa's Strongest Man. We had a deadlift medley, and he tapped and go throughout the whole medley because we had to do 2 reps on a normal deadlift, 2 reps on a frame deadlift, and 2 reps on an axle deadlift. He tapped and go through everything, and I saw that and asked the organizer of the competition, "Listen, is tap and go allowed in the deadlift?" And he aggressively looked at me and said no. And I said, "Oh, okay, but that guy's doing it." So not to be a dick or anything, but still, I know it's not allowed. I just wanted to get it clear. And yeah, the organizer ran up to the official and to the athlete and shut them out. And yeah, so at the next competition where we will compete together, doesn't matter if we compete in the same class or not, I will point out to the refs, "Listen, this is what I'm seeing. Is it allowed, not allowed?" And in the athlete meeting beforehand, I will raise the question, is tap and go allowed? Yes or no? And if it's a max deadlift event, can we get a second ref from the side because this guy actually locks out with soft knees? So yeah, doesn't matter if we're in the same class or not. I just want I want it to be as fair and strict as possible.
You're not dealing with his shit, basically.
Basically.
I mean,
But
that's.
I just believe follow the rules and don't be a dick, or I will be a dick. So yeah.
Hey, I mean, that's how it has to be. That's what I would say, anyway. But that's,
But, yeah,
again, me.
it's all about having fun at the end, I guess.
It's all about winning.
Yeah, that as well.
So I can't do the
having
cookie
fun.
cutter thing of, no, it's just about having fun. No, winning is very important, people.
That is. But having fun while winning, that's better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And having fun does make it more enjoyable, but I still feel very strongly.
And at my previous competitions as well, there's one of the under 80 athletes that I used to train under his coach, and I left his coach because of the way he's training people and so on. He was training Yuan Els, who was 2018 the 6th strongest man in the world. Competed at World Strongest Man as well, Yuan Els. But yeah, since then stuff developed and all that. So yeah, but yeah, this coach trained him and he trained my competitor basically, and yeah, so when we competed against each other, every time we would get into each other's heads so much that we can't actually perform. Like I know I hold the Africa deadlift record on a 280 kilograms for under 80 kilogram division. If I compete with him or against him, I can't get past the 270 kilograms. And he can't get past his personal best in the competition, which is 270 kilograms. And basically everything if we compete against each other, he goes in so aggressive, trying to prove that he's the better athlete. But by doing that, he loses his form and technique. How he does his events, I have no idea. How he finishes his events, I have no idea. But now with last year's Africa's Strongest Man, I went into a higher weight division, and he was in the under 80 kilogram division, still trying to compete against me. Well, it seemed that way because everything he did, because he's in the lower weight division, so he wants to prove that he's stronger than me. So everything he does is so aggressive, as if we're competing against each other. And if I compete, um, there's no eye contact with other athletes basically as well. He's basically only looking at me. He's going in so aggressive. If he completes an event, he looks at me, and it's stuff like that. It's like, I'm going to show you I'm still the better athlete. You can't run away from me. It's like that.
So he's your nemesis.
He was.
Was.
And yeah, he was. So on everything we did at Africa's last year, my weights were obviously heavier than his. And with the medleys, my weights were heavier, and I still beat him on time. We had a tire flip, which he did a 250 kilogram tire flip for 8 reps. Got in the high 30 seconds. And I did a 320 kilogram tire flip for 8 reps for 30 seconds. So it's stuff like that. So my weights were heavier and still beat him on time. And when we got to the max log on the first event of day 2, I pressed 115 kilograms. I just went first because they let the under 80 and the under 90 kilogram athletes join for the log press for max weight, and I think the 105 athletes were also with us. Yeah, so it was the 3 weight divisions that went as one division basically, but they were scored differently. So when I got to my third lift, because we only had 3 lifts, when I got to my third lift, I went for 115 kilograms, cleaned, pressed, but didn't lock out long enough. So I just locked out and dropped, but I didn't keep it as a lockout. And I asked the ref, is it the lockout that wasn't long enough? He's like, yes. Okay, cool. And he said, he will tell me when there's 30 seconds left on the time. So just stand back, take a breather, do it when I say there's 30 seconds. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just stood there looking pretty, looking at everyone, still waiting for me to finish. And 30 seconds left, did it, locked out, threw it down. And then that guy immediately went second because I was the first athlete on that weight. And he immediately went second on the same weight and almost killed himself. He did the curl, which looked shaky as hell, and he couldn't even press it off his chest. And then I just thought, dude, why are you still trying? And we went into the second last event of the competition, which was a yoke carry, which our weight difference was 10 kilograms on the 2 yokes, because we had to walk 10 meters with the yoke and add our own weights, 50 kilograms more, and walk 5 meters back. And there was a 10 kilogram difference between both weights on the 2 yokes with us, with the 2 divisions. So on his third step on the first weight, he just popped his patella tendon. And I told his coach, it's because you are actively telling him to go in as aggressive as possible. And he's losing form. And basically, his coach will never talk to me again. But anyway, so yeah, he popped his knee and yeah, he lost the competition by basically trying to be as aggressive as possible, trying to prove that he's still the better athlete. So yeah. But it's just, yeah, that's when I just knew that he's not my nemesis anymore because I left him behind.
And I'm sure that eats him alive.
I hope so.
It sounds to me like you two had a pretty decent feud there for a minute. So I think, I think.
And because I won my first SA Strongest Man in 2017, I won my first Africa Strongest Man for 2017, and then the next year I competed at Arnold's against them, which was the first time we competed against each other, and he won. I came second with 2 points. I competed at SA's alone, so won SA Strongest Man in 2018, and at Africa Strongest Man 2018 he competed against me and he won with 2 points. But also funny story, I put on my deadlift suit for the first event or second event, which was max deadlift. I put on my deadlift suit, and as I pulled my first knee sleeve over my knee, I pulled a lower back muscle. Second event of the competition, and still I came second with 2 points. So I lost my Africa's title, but yeah, he took the title, and we met again in Arnold's last year. And day one, we were also, I think, 1 or 2 points difference, and he was leading. Day two, we went in, max log press first event, and I tore my pec minor. So basically, tore my pec minor straight clean off of the pectoral tendon and more than 50% from the deltoid tendon. And that was on my opening lift of 90 kilograms, which I felt the first pop when I attempted the first lift, and I thought, wait, something's wrong. Called it again, locked out, and on the lockout I felt another pop. I'm like, fuck, something's wrong, but let's keep going. Did a 105 kg for my second weight, and on the curl started pressing, and I felt another pop. Dropped the weight, attempted the curl again. As I started pressing, felt the pop. Like, okay, no, this is not good. I'm done. And
Jesus.
yeah, we still had a yoke walk and a farmer's front hold to do. So both of that events took so much strain on my shoulder and my pec. And because with the yoke you squeeze underneath, so your whole pec basically flexes backwards, or your whole shoulder basically flexes backwards. And with that strain on the pec and the shoulder, it was insane. So I actually lost that event and came second, I believe, in the second or third in the farmer's front hold, and still came second overall. So and then South Africa Strongest Man happened in August, which I won. I'm still battling with that injury, and then just increased a few things training wise and other stuff for Africa Strongest Man for recovery, and went in higher weight division and then won Africa's. So got my title back in a higher weight division. But yeah, so training for the pound for pound thing is it's not in the best conditions, basically, because gyms are still closed due to the COVID and the lockdown in South Africa. But everybody's wanting to protest now for gyms to be reopened. They want to have a silent protest, to stand in front of a gym wearing black and white clothing with the banners and everything to open the gyms. I don't know what that's going to help, but still.
There was a couple gyms in the U.S. and areas where they're forced to be closed, so they just took off their doors.
Well done.
And then they're like, yeah, they just took off their front doors and just like left. So they're like, we're not open, but
we're not closed either.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of weird stuff like that happening over here. Because there's some gym owners that got arrested
for
opening.
And he got arrested again.
They get arrested.
For breaking into his own gym to let the people in.
Well,
Or something like that.
I'm sure that's right.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's insane.
Our gym never closed. It's still not closed. It's kind of smaller in an industrial park. It's an independent gym. So like he's pretty much just gonna never close it unless somebody tells somebody. So
I won't tell anyone.
yeah, we're on like a secret basis, I guess. But yeah, it was never closed. I started going back like 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've,
This week is going to be 10 weeks. For some, our program is going to be 10 weeks this week.
Yeah, but
my
it's
gym-
been nice having a gym the last 10 weeks.
Yeah, you're
My-
lucky.
yeah, my gym closed, but then they opened. I kind of stocked up my home gym enough, minus plates. The only thing I really can't do is max out on deadlift at home. It's the only thing I can do at home. And it's a pain in the ass to overhead press, like with the
Yeah,
barbell.
at least the things I have at home is I have a log. I have my barbell with quite a few weights. I'm getting more weights tomorrow, so that's good. I'm getting one of those scales in the week as well, just to weigh everything properly. I have an Atlas stone, but it's a freaking light Atlas stone, but still, it works. I built my own squat rack recently, and I built suitcases to do farmer's walk, which I rarely use actually for some reason. I don't know, I just hate farmer's walk.
I like farmer's
But
walk.
I still like it.
I used my farmer's suitcases for floor presses, just to rest the bar on the handles.
That's what I use my farmers for.
I know, I saw. But I actually have to start training for farmers again just to get my grip back, and well, train seriously on the farmers at least, because if I qualify for official strongman games and if I have enough money to go, then we don't know what the events will be, so I have to start training as much as possible, I guess, just to get on that level again.
How much do you think your grip really you lost though, in not training it for a while?
Well, I can still do a double overhand 160 kg deadlift,
So you really haven't lost much grip then.
not much, but the bar I have, the knurling is there's so few knurling on there, so little knurling. It's basically one of those bars. It's a deadlift bar, but without much knurling. So I guess if I have a bar that actually has proper knurling, then I can do 200 plus on double overhand. But with the bar I have, it's
a little too smooth.
It's smooth as hell.
That's what my one bar is. It's really smooth. It's actually the one I use the most for deadlifting at home, just because of that. Because it forces me to squeeze.
I think in March, it was in March, beginning of this year. I did a powerlifting competition and injured my lower back with a squat. And a week after that, I did a strongman competition, which we started the competition with the max deadlift. So here's me with the injured lower back doing a max deadlift. So I started with a 440-pound deadlift just to feel it out, and then moved over to a 308 pound for my second attempt, just to feel it out again, and it felt sore but doable. No, it was a 240 kilograms, so 530 pounds. 530 pounds for my second attempt, and then I just told the official, I don't know what my last attempt would be. Do I want a 573 or do I want a 617? And he said, let's put you on a 617. So, okay, cool, let's do it. And I called it like it was a warm up.
That's always good. I like when deadlifts feel.
It was with the suit, so.
I've never had any desire to use a suit at this point in time. Do they really help that much?
It does.
Apparently.
You can basically lift about between 20 and 40 kilograms more.
The only person who I've heard said it doesn't help is Jerry Pritchett, or at least he's like always complains. He's like I says he doesn't get more than like 20 pounds out of it, but everyone else like swears by it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I used to only train in a suit before the lockdown because I was certain that we will have a max deadlift at Arnold's, and then about a month before the lockdown started, we got confirmation we're doing deadlift for reps. Oh crap! Okay, let's start working without the suit. And yeah, then the lockdown happened, and we didn't have Arnold's this year. Yay, fun!
Oh yeah, where did that leave off? Because all the qualifiers, none of them are they just all gonna happen in like December?
I don't know because we don't have Arnold's this year. They confirmed that we will only have Arnold's next year, and we actually would have ended South Africa's Strongest Man today. So it would have been yesterday and today, which also isn't going to happen as far as we know. So far, we have confirmation Africa's Strongest Man at the end of November or beginning of December. But if I can go to official Strongman games, then I'm not doing Africa's, or maybe doing Africa's after that, just for the shits and giggles of it. But I don't think I will actually have the energy left for that competition if I can go to official Strongman games. But if I can't go to OSG, then I'll do Africa's Strongest Man full out.
How much does something like that cost? Versus how much is the reward money for winning?
Doing Africa's or
Oh no, Strongman.
Official Strongman games.
I actually have no idea. The normal cost is around 40k for us, so 40,000 rand. That includes your food, your travel, your accommodation, and all that. So, in our terms, in our currency, it's quite a lot.
So to just go and compete, it's 40K.
30K. What is it called?
Rand. So yeah. Dollar to rand.
Okay. So that's $2,500 US.
$2,500
Basically.
for. That's crazy. That's so expensive. I mean, even at $2,500, US or the 40, that's really high. That's still a lot. And then, what's the payout? Like Justin asked, do you know what the payout would be roughly? I mean, do you at least get your money back from that?
I actually have no idea if there's a payout. I've never actually spoken to anybody that got a payout or anything, so I'm not sure.
How could there not be a payout? I mean,
But if I can do well in the pound for pound, then I think it's the first place gets $10,000, second place is $7,500, third place is 5,000, fourth place is I think 2,500.
Is that USD?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh well, there you go.
So if I get fourth place, hopefully then I can go. But even third place is I think 1,250 or something. So even on that, because with my flights, I've at least got my contacts that can get me a cheaper flight. So yeah.
What sort of border restrictions are there right now?
Well, it's South Africa, so no one knows.
Well, because
isn't there a place? I think U.S. citizens, we can go to a place
Well,
from
most
South Africa, I believe.
I don't know
think
about
it
right
was
now
there.
because I think we're one of the most boycotted travel because we have the worst spread of the epidemic right now. So there's a lot of like you can't Canada. You're not even allowed to go from Canada to the U.S. Like Canada's only letting Canadian citizens back.
All I
So
know is that I think I will have 2 stops if I fly to America. 2 or 3 stops between here and there. So yeah, but the guy that I know, he works for Qatar Airways. So if you're on his friend list, then you can fly for cheap. So
Oh,
that's
I was
that's
gonna have a
great.
hookup like that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And South African Airways is basically going on a full shutdown, as far as we know, because of the government trying to pull the South African Airways into their, you can say, into the government funds and all that, and they are so corrupt that they are basically not giving the airways any money, and they're not receiving any money. So yeah.
in general, flights all over the world are pretty cheap. I was looking at a flight for like halfway across the country. If I booked it 2 weeks in advance, was like $37 a couple weeks ago.
Jeez.
I was like, it's almost cheap enough to just go eat in like New York, just fly in, eat, and come back because the round trip only cost like $80.
Jeez.
That's insane.
It is.
Like how cheap flights are. Well, I mean, no one wants to get on a plane right now. Breathing recycled air from people from all over the place.
It's fun. I'll wear my mask.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I wonder actually how it's going to be with this pandemic and everything. Doing official Strongman games or World's Strongest Man with.
Oh, dude, I can tell you,
athletes
it's
in one
miserable
sport.
doing construction. So like,
Ah,
a lot of people just who don't work in really shitty outdoor hot environments don't think about it. But yeah, that mask given like 40% of your normal oxygen supply and 90% humidity when it's like 90 degrees outside, like for like 14 hours, you're just like so drenched. It's not even funny. So I
yeah,
couldn't imagine having to put the mask on between events, like while you're trying to recover on air, like
yeah.
wearing the mask.
But I'm just wondering, is it going to be a restriction at the competitions to wear a mask between events, or
It would be up to how Strongman Games wants to do it. Most sporting events right now in the U.S. they just test everybody ahead of time, and then do like a 2 week quarantine, and then just don't worry about it because they're in an isolated bubble. Like that's
imagine
how
that?
most places have been operating, but everyone's been doing it differently. So
Imagine you do official strongman games, and they said, "Okay, cool. We'll take your temperature. We'll do the tests. You can do the competition, but you're going to be here for 2 weeks. You can't leave this building."
yeah, that's uh that's what a lot of like different competitions have been doing. But
Jeez.
Yeah, I can.
At least our travel restrictions, we we are a bit lighter on the travel restrictions now. Quite recently in South Africa, so we can actually start doing more competitions across provinces and so on. So yeah,
yeah,
we have.
competitions are coming back here too because everyone just stopped caring. They just looked at the ridiculously high numbers and like, well, that boat sold. We're all so just game on. Everyone's like, all right. Like the competition that I was looking at went from canceled to back on, but they made it back on at the same date. So 28-day notice.
So that's what we're competing. There's some comps here too. Apparently, there was just one I didn't even know about.
Like I'll be able to watch that one, but I'm probably sitting out most likely this year.
I mean,
I saw
you
the one at the
state.
training hall. Saw some of the, or there was a competition now this weekend or something.
Yeah, a lot of them are starting to come back. but I'm not. But they're all smaller scale ones. Like none of like the big national or like arena shows have announced anything. It's always been just like the training hall is going to do one, or like Georgia's Strongest Man's ran by one particular like independent gym. It's part of the whole official strongman thing, but there's been no like big headlining strongman shows I've known that have like the arena show in Florida. I think is still canceled, right? They're gonna do Giant Slide Florida, and that still hasn't been renewed or redated.
I don't know.
I just know of one competition at the moment in South Africa, which is going to be the Western Cape Strongest Man, which is basically at the coast. And from there, we still have other provincial competitions that I think will follow. I'm not sure.
Oh,
So yeah, we'll see what competitions will come up and which ones we can't do, and yeah, so just have to go with the flow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be going to that one. So it'd be really cool if everything does line up.
Did we go to the one in Florida?
Yeah, I mean, I can just drive there in a couple hours.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah, so they're sort of like they're not super close, but they're not like super far away from me.
And
Well, I guess
official Strongman Games and the World's Strongest Man is a week apart, and about you said it was around 3 hours drive.
Yeah, so one's I think World's Strongest Man is on the east coast of Florida, the Atlantic coast, and I think the official Strongman one that's on the
Beach.
left side or the Gulf side of Florida.
Yeah.
oh, geez.
So, but they're at the same like vertical thing, so it's literally just like drive straight through Florida from one coast to the other to get from between the two of them.
That wouldn't
Yeah,
be.
actually, it will be awesome to see both of them actually, or to be at both of them.
That would be cool.
Mm.
Hopefully they keep doing.
Especially now that Thor said he's not going to do World's Strongest Man anymore.
Yeah, I'm calling for Brian victory on this one.
I think. Well,
Brian is looking quite strong.
Healthy.
Also, yeah, and
For the first time.
What's that?
It's Kiliskovsky. He's quiet on social media, but geez, I think if anybody deserves to be a World's Strongest Man champion, it's Kiliskovsky.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
He's literally never not been injured his entire career.
Especially, last year he popped his bicep at the World Ultimate Strongman. And the best is they poked on his bicep, and he's just like, I don't feel anything.
I like the pre-interview with like, yeah.
I was watching that with Eddie Hall because Eddie was telling him like, man, you need to just either tape it up and go or be done.
He's like, no, it's fine.
This guy's is like stones.
I'll see if I can only do 3 stones, and then he does 6. 6 or 7.
Yeah, we were talking to Martins because Martins is sitting that one out, and Martins is like, dude, like 1 stone, take your 3rd place, you'll still make podium. Just 1. And Dave's like, just what? She's like, yeah, just 1. And then he knocks out 6, and then Martins is just freaking out.
Yes.
Like watching this, he's like, what's going on?
Kiliskovsky is just a robot. He's an amazing athlete.
And I think he is if I think it's between him and Shaw. I hate counting out Martins, but like I haven't seen Martins hit anything real heavy. We're still.
Have you ever seen Martins look like he's gonna do good at any competition, and before he goes and crushes it?
So Martins usually no, but you can tell when he's strong and when he's not as strong. Right now, not looking as strong.
Well, he always does those big weight cycles though.
Yeah, But
Like
also with,
massive weight
recoveries-
cycles.
His recoveries on his damaged nerves and this recovery and that recovery he's been focusing on the last few months.
I think he did something crazy last year. It was some ridiculous amount of weight. Like he went down like 40 pounds and then went back up like 25 pounds. Like he went. Martinez does like massive weight cycling in the off seasons as well.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
we'll see. Last year he ran away with the world's strongest man points, so we'll see what happens this year.
Yeah. And with no Thor, that definitely
Opens it up.
opens it up a lot for Kiliskowski, Shaw, and Martin. Martinez, you're right, he does show up for game day. He always shows up for game day.
The thing I'm wondering about
bit
is
worried about him.
Mateus it's always been lower body's been his issue, right? So like the deadlift and like car deadlift or whatever it is, especially if they have 2 lower body events. So
Yeah, but I believe if he gets his deadlift up to where the other athletes are, he's going to be.
He'll be unbeatable.
Yeah.
Unbeatable if he gets his. We've said that.
Yeah, we've even done the math on it. If he gets a 5th place deadlift, I went through the last several competitions he was in, and if he could have gotten 5th place for his deadlift, he would have won several of them. So he doesn't need to be like a Brian Shaw or whatever. He just needs to get like 1,000 pounds, and that's it, no more, and he can start winning. But until then, he's just going to keep getting like that 7th or 8th place on deadlift, and it's going to keep crippling him. Even with first place, 8th place loses.
Yeah, that's still his only downside. He's still a great puller. I mean, he still pulls what 832 pounds, 900 plus pound deadlift.
And can anybody push Brian Shaw on deadlift right now? Because before Brian Carone,
JF Caron,
I used to say Pritchett, but Pritchett's not been. Ronno
actually
Heimla.
thought about the same now.
About
Literally.
Pritchett.
because the one thing is they also have to make it to the top 10.
Bishop
Yeah, Adam Bishop is
is a very good deadlifter.
He's deadlift.
Adam Bishop has a good. He's not Brian Shaw
I think-
level.
Yeah, he's
No,
not that level, but if you look at his strength that he built up for the unofficial silver dollar deadlift that he did, his deadlift strength actually increased so much.
Yeah, Adam. I think Adam Bishop has a chance to take the podium, and then you can't forget about Tom Stoltman or Luke Stoltman. I think Tom's deadlift's really good. What did he just pull the other day? Like 440.
Yeah,
Or
Tom
four.
and Luke have both been crushing it for the last 2 years.
If they can, the other side of that coin is who else is going to be able to come over here to compete at World's Strongest Man. Because one thing I would hate to see is if like those guys can't come over here, and Shaw wins it based on a
The athletes that
shallow pool. What's that?
No, based on the athletes that actually showed up,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and not the athletes that should have been there.
yeah, because
I'll-
that would taint his victory.
If Great
And
Britain doesn't have an issue coming and Mateus can come over, I feel like with Adam Bishop, both like the Stoltmans, you still have Martins here, and then if you get Mateus, I don't see it as where people would be like, well, XX and X couldn't show up.
Now,
That's your-
if Great Britain and Poland can come here, that's really all that's needed for it to be a legit competition. Because you look at the top 10 last few years, U.S., Great Britain, and Poland.
And well, U.S.,
Georgia.
Canada. U.S., Canada, and Great Britain is made up like 60% of the competition of the top, like every time.
I feel bad for Canada because I forgot about them, and they have 2 amazing
Ridiculous.
strongmen there.
Yeah,
Jeff
well, they have
Curran
more than
is
just
one of my
2.
favorite.
They
Well,
have a bunch of up and comers who are
super
like
biased. I love JF Caron after his "abs are not a symbol of power" quote.
yeah.
I love him for that. And what's his name? I can't.
Maxine.
Yeah, Maxime. It just
Yes.
feels wrong to say his
he's one
name.
of
Boudreaux.
He's one of the underdogs.
I don't even
Maxime
think
is-
he's an underdog.
No,
I think if
not
he
after
shows
saying-
up,
Yeah.
his deadlift was also his poverty lift, and
It was.
Arnold wasn't it? That's what
After
caused him
Santa
to
Monica, he showed everybody that he's for real, and like
win. Yeah.
that was
I
his
think-
underdog competition.
I think he just gave it a bit too much at the beginning. So he still has to figure out how to preserve his energy for the next event and the next event.
See,
So
I actually
Yeah, I
disagree with
just
you,
think-
Marcus. I think he's just not a great deadlifter.
yeah, we saw
Because-
that.
But because even after the deadlift, he still came in first. I think the next couple events
No,
or the next event.
After the deadlift, I think it was the sandbag throw.
And he crushed
Actually,
that. Everyone
I
thought
think, no, didn't he get second?
he got first. I'm pretty sure
did
he
he get
took first. He went out there. He beat. Yeah.
Martins and Brian on the first 3 events, because after the first 3 events, he was in first place, and then Brian's and Martins were like tied at second. And then for the last 2 or 3 events, I forgot if there was 5 or 6, Thor and Martins beat him on the second half.
Yeah, but because with the sandbag carry, with the carry medley, basically, he just messed up. He couldn't get the sandbag over the bar. The last sandbag.
I'm about to rewatch it because I thought he did really well in that too.
He just did really good in the first half, and then the last 3, Brian and Martins basically took
If
first and
that's the
second.
case, then Marcus was right. Shocking, but I think Marcus, you're probably all right. Because me, after the deadlift is when the deadlift was the only thing he didn't do well in, and that was kind of where that was why I said I don't think he had an energy issue. But if he'd lost the second half completely, then yes.
Well,
But-
not completely. He just couldn't maintain the pace of Brian Sean Martin's leashes, and I think that less of a strategical thing and more just he needs another year, maybe 2, to get the
Ooh.
strength to roll with those guys at that level for a full 6 events.
But still, if you look at, let's go to Europe's strongest man, which hopefully will still be this year. Max log press. And
Look.
isn't there going to be a competition, I think at Europe's or something, where it's going to be a max deadlift event as well?
I haven't seen him that closely, but max deadlift is kind of bad for Mateus.
Yeah, but
It's,
but if you look at even
who do you think wins first, Adam Bishop or Tom Steltman?
Tom.
Before Adam?
No, Tom on the log press definitely.
But who do you think wins worlds first, or do you think they ever both win?
I don't think I don't know if we still have Kiliskovsky in the ranks. If we still have someone, yes, it's either going to be Tom actually stands a great chance now.
I think Tom.
Wins before
if-
Bishop, even though Bishop beat him at Britain's Strongest Man.
Yeah, but if you
Danny?
look at his stone run, if he can actually perform well and keep second place or a close second place throughout the whole competition, and if it comes down to the stones,
He wins.
he wins.
Yeah,
Definitely, he's gonna win.
that's a good point. All he has to do is make second place because it always ends in stones.
Mm.
And then he wins stones, and then it's done.
He has to make second place. He has to be close second.
Yeah.
So it has
Yeah.
to be. It has to be like
He has
whoever's
to
in
win.
first has to
Yeah,
win the next event, and if it's stones,
Just-
which it always is, he will win the stones. I don't know that
He
he's
will,
beatable at
definitely.
stones.
I don't think so.
I don't know anyone who can beat. There's no one that focuses on Atlas stones as much as him.
Oh, I think someone who focuses a lot on Atlas stones, he goes underrated is Martins. He just doesn't film it that often, but when he talks about his normal regiment, he's playing with stones every time he does anything.
Well, anytime he has a chance to play with stones, he plays with stones. He likes the stones, and that's he's said multiple times he thinks that's the
He's
that's
Like,
his that's the best event in Strongman. He said that he feels like that's one of the most.
He was
strongman
talking about
events.
how he likes to warm up his back is he just picks an Atlas stone up 6 inches off the ground and holds
or
it
do
for
the stone rows as well.
yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mateus and Martins are going to be doing very similar in stones. I don't see anyone else that are
Are you saying Tom Stoltman and
Tom, Martins,
Martins?
and Mateus. I feel like are a lot closer than people are kind of like putting Tom
I
way like past them. I feel like they're probably closer.
I think they're good. They're like Martins is good at stones. Kieliskowski's good at stones. I think Tom Stoltman's in a literally different level with stones. Those other two are great at stones, but Tom is way further than that. Because I mean, he wants to be the best at stones. The other guys want to be good enough at stones to win. There's a big difference there. So basically, when you're looking at stones, you have to beat Tom Stoltman. They both know that.
Yeah.
If you look at Brian Shaw as well, when they still had the Max Stone at Arnold's, and he continued to break the record, and no one else could keep up, and they just took away that whole event.
Mhm.
And even if when you asked them, listen, can you put the event back because he wants to break another record, they said no. And now with the Rogue Record Breakers, they actually implemented that event, and Tom Stoltman broke the record and went forward from there. But I think with what Brian also said in one of his videos, he knows that he can do a 300 kilogram stone because he loves training with his stones as well. Well, he loved training with his stones as well. I don't know, he doesn't show a lot of stone training now, but I believe if it's going to be for a 300 stone world record and he can start focusing more on the stone and he actually has a chance for that event, it's between him and Stoltman who gets it and who can go from there.
Are you saying for the max stone over bar? Or are you saying for the max stone?
Max stone over bar.
Yeah, Max Stone over bar. But what I was thinking is like if it's if it's a stone run, and Mateus or Martins are capable of lifting the last stone, they move fast. Like no one can deny Tom can do the heaviest stone, but just being able to do the heaviest stone in a stone run.
He set the record in the 10 stone run. Tom Stoltman is the legit like.
Oh, I'm just saying that like
in stones.
I think on a bad day one of those two could, even on a slightly off day, one of those two could upset him if the stones are light enough.
Yeah, but I think with Tom Stoltman, with the strength he has at the moment on the stone, he can just one motion the last stone and win the competition as well.
Yeah, I don't see him. I don't know that there'll ever be anyone who will. There's people that can maybe push him, but not beat him, and push him just because. Oh, I actually have to try an extra, like just this much harder.
Well, it also depends
I really
on how
do
much.
think.
Well, see, it also depends on how much you see Max Stone, because people are a lot more likely to push him on an event that they actually will compete at. Because the same thing with.
If you look at moving events as well, moving events, Kieliskowski is also very fast on some of the moving events. With his frame carry, his farmer's walk actually, and with the car walk.
Yeah, he's super fast.
And with his truck pull even. He's insanely fast with that.
That's a Polish thing. Pujanowski was really fast at that too.
Yeah, I actually wanted to say now, Pujanowski, I actually watched World's Strongest Man 2009 yesterday, and I noticed that Pujanowski also is as low as possible throughout the whole truck pull. And it's basically almost on the same height as what Kieliskowski is pulling the truck. It's insane.
Yeah. For some reason, it always was weird. Thor was always like really high on his truck pulls. You ever notice that? Compared to the rest of the playing field, he was almost vertical.
And he was always one of the best at it too. I think it was just because he had so much mass. Honestly, I just think because Thor can be so big.
Yeah.
That he can just walk with it as fast.
Because mathematically, the lower you get to the ground, the better it should move because your weight's further in front. Like, there's a definite mechanical advantage to being low.
Weight leverage and also momentum that has to pull you. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, say again?
Oh, no, you go.
Have you guys seen that post with the Thor fans being scared that Thor might be knocked out in the first round of the boxing match due to his last video performance in boxing.
What was that? I lost it. I didn't hear you.
Being knocked
It
out in
was-
the first round.
Yeah, Thor being knocked out in the first round, maybe, or losing the fight, being smashed basically by Eddie Hall, due to his last video and his performance in his last video with his boxing.
I did not see that.
Thor.
Thor fans are actually scared that he's going to lose.
Thor. I don't think so. I'm glad you brought this up because I learned some things. One, I think Eddie Hall wins the boxing match.
Definitely.
There's nothing. He's going to win it. The other thing is, did you know that boxing in Iceland is illegal? Like they weren't allowed to do it. Because when I seen Thor's training video,
Yeah.
I read this and because there's this one heavyweight that was like protesting, like, listen, you allow these other things, let us box. Like it's a real thing. Because I was looking at Thor's trainer and I'm like, why is Thor's trainer not look like a boxing trainer?
Yes.
He doesn't look like a boxing trainer. He's clearly, I don't think he is. I think he's just a guy like, I'll help you hit stuff and you can swing at me a couple times. But that's not boxing is its own entire thing. And I don't think Thor has a legit boxing trainer. That's immediately a hindrance. Thor's size and his reach, which is excellent in boxing, if you don't know how to use it, that he's just gonna come right up in and just be able to hit those power, those
But even
quick jabs.
even the way that he throws his punches, it's like he pushes his punches. It's not a quick jab and.
Well, that's how he did Strongman.
Yeah, but he tries to push through the punch. And
Look at their deadlifts.
That doesn't carry any power actually.
So if you look at their deadlifts, because I looked at their
Pushing through a punch, real quick. Pushing through a punch is a good way to knock people out, but it's not a way to. Well, if you hit him here, you hit him here and you push through that hard, that's where that little nerve up here gets pinched. It's lights out. That's how I've knocked people out pushing through. But
even if you look at
not all the time.
Even if you look at the strength and the intensity and the speed that Eddie Hall throws his punches with, Thor doesn't stand a chance against him.
No, but that's how they've always been. So if you look at their two top deadlifts, right? Eddie yanked the bar off the ground and it accelerated for like the first 8 inches, and then it slowed down until eventually got to like right above his knees, and then he hitched it up. Thor was the same speed off the ground all the way. So Eddie's was an explosive, start fast, and then slow down to a crawl, and Thor's was like a tractor. So Thor's punching like with consistency all the way through, and Eddie's just more explosive because he's always trained explosiveness.
And then
like
picking up heavy weights, that's fine. Punching someone in the face, you need to be explosive. That that needs to be. You can't just you can't be like, okay, I'm going to hit you, because that's essentially what you're saying. Projecting it and then no, you can't do that. I mean, you can have power, but you need to be.
And then
fast.
If you look at like before boxing was ever in like Eddie's mind, when he would do like tricep pull downs or whatever, he would put as much weight and then it would bounce the weight up, and he was just trying to explode. He would do deadlifts with like only 3 plates, but he would just explode as hard as he could on them for like 40 reps. Like he's always trained just like dumping all the energy immediately and being explosive. So yeah, Thor, they both have this. They have the same 16 months to prepare for the boxing match, but Thor's never prepared for explosiveness, and Eddie has never done anything but explosiveness. All the way back to when he was a swimmer.
It also seems that Thor isn't actually taking things seriously about the boxing match now, because win or lose, he's going to get a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's worried about. But he's not worried about the box. It seems like that. He's not focusing on the boxing match, making it a priority, because there's so many months still leading up to the match. I think he thinks, I'll take things calmly now, and when it gets closer to the time, I'll put in the training for that.
That's going to fuck him, though.
I know, because at that same time, Eddie is going to be leagues above him, and it's going to get fucked.
It's going to be bad, because Thor isn't taking it as seriously, because his lifts aren't even carrying over to it.
I know.
Like I
His
get
whole
like
training, his whole
I think
training
that-
resume doesn't carry over to boxing.
I think that because he was doing log in that video. I don't know if he has a new
Yeah.
one, but the one I seen, he was doing log, and log is you can be explosive with log, but he's not being explosive. he's
No, he
still doing it.
stretches like this.
I think it's also
if you're
changed
coming up,
Eddie's.
bam,
I think it's
you really.
changed. So Eddie's tactics, he was talking about before he was going to cut a bunch of weight, and then his most recent video about it, he was saying that like he doesn't think he's really going to cut that much weight anymore. That he's like, if I can be explosive at whatever strength, like whatever level, I'm just gonna. He said he'd go in it heavy, and I think the reason he's talking about going it heavy now is he's saying that
Thor's
isn't-
not good boxing.
So he's just wants to hit as hard as he possibly can and as explosively as he possibly can.
Yeah,
But,
he wants to get it off. That's the problem. that's his motivation. That's his drive.
I
To
don't
knock
think
Thor out.
I think that's the only way it can end with either of them being as strong as they are.
I
but
see. Before I thought it would end via they would just get tired.
Yeah, but the other thing is, Eddie said that he can do 3-minute rounds with his heart rate at 180 beats per second. So his fitness is actually improving a lot. Thor won't last that long. Thor will be tired as hell in the first minute. And the other thing is, Thor, he can't hit. I've seen some of his punches in that last video with his behind-the-scenes boxing, where he actually hits the guy with his inside of the palm.
Yeah.
That's illegal. That's illegal in boxing.
He's I don't think so I love that
So
Thor
he doesn't
agreed to
know
it.
how to- yeah, I love it, but he doesn't know how to box, basically.
But I think he's in over his head, and I don't think Thor realizes, because Thor has essentially been, in everything he's done, he's just been naturally
best.
gifted at it.
Yeah.
Basketball, things you can't teach is being 6'10", and that drive for basketball. So he's just always naturally good at it. Strongman, again, he can't teach those leverages because he just has them, and he is very passionate about strongman, which is also why I'm like, I don't know that he should have went the route he's going right now. He wants the big payday, and I get that, but maybe not have did it this way.
Because it's very clear that he didn't get into strongman for the money, because no one does. And it's very clear that he got into boxing for the money. So, like, the motivation that he trained super hard under strongman, money might not be what it takes for him to get in that same mindset.
Yeah, I don't think it is. And with Eddie, I think Eddie loves strongman as well. I just think he loved it to win it. He wanted to win World's Strongest Man, and he legit did exactly what he said. I'm going to win World's Strongest Man, and I'm done. I'm bouncing. I'm immediately done with it.
Eddie's very much the next thing kind of person. Even in strongman, he's like, I want this record. And his whole mindset would be about that record. Then, get worlds, get deadlift, get axle, get out.
Yeah.
And you still get people that says, you ran away from strongman because you were scared that you're going to lose the next year and so on.
And he just seems like once he has something, he wants the next thing kind of person to me.
Do you believe that, Marcus, though? Because, I mean, by your laugh, I don't think you believed it.
Thor actually said that.
No, he did.
And that's why I'm talking about someone who said that, and I just mentioned Thor.
Well, to be fair, when Thor won World's Strongest Man, he won the fuck out of World's Strongest Man. And he also, like, when Thor won, he crushed.
But
Especially the Arnold, going to like 10-point leads into the last event where he just has to show up to win.
Yeah, but it's weird that if you look at even with Big Z, he won Arnold's year after year, and couldn't win. Yeah, okay, but still.
Half of all the Arnolds are won by Big Z.
Yeah, and he couldn't win World's Strongest Man. And then 2010, I believe, no, 2009, he won his first World's Strongest Man title. And that's when he proved that he's the best or strongest strongman that ever lived. because he won the most Arnold championships. That's when he basically won all the titles in strongman that can be won. So, looking at that, Arnold's doesn't actually prove anything.
Didn't Big Z also take a lot of time off of World's Strongest Man for a different federation? While he was still doing the Arnold, just not Worlds?
Yeah, he won. It was another federation which also had a World's Strongest Man, which he won, I think, twice.
Yeah. It was during the strongman split, so he might. He has 3 currently, right? Big Z.
Yes.
So he may have
He's won
gotten
4 World's Strongest Mans.
4. So he may have had like a 5th if it wasn't for that break. Yeah, Big Z's just insane.
I think he has 6 total World's Strongest Men, but 2 of them is because of that other federation.
Yeah, I found myself checking his wiki like very often because he's won so many things it's impossible to remember.
It is.
You just scroll through his page, it's like nothing but first and second place. Holy shit. So from 2002 to 2015, so for 13 years, he always got first or second at World's Strongest Man.
That makes sense because that's when Brian Shaw would have won. Pujanowski. No, Pujanowski was he in that realm?
And then the Arnold.
He stopped at 2009. He retired 2010.
At a Arnold Strongman Classic, he never got below 3rd place.
No, sorry. Pujanowski retired after World's Strongest Man 2010. So he didn't compete in Worlds from 2011 upwards.
God. Just scroll through his Wikipedia.
I've jumped down that rabbit hole before as well.
Oh yeah, you're saying that all of Thor's Arnold's wins don't necessarily mean that he would also clean up the next year, the previous year at Worlds.
Basically.
Yeah, because Arnold is super heavy static. It's almost like a powerlifting meet, and then Worlds is just a lot more moving. It's
especially. And what do you guys think? I saw this question on Brian Shaw's last Q&A video where someone asked him, "What do you think about what Jeff Capes said about standardizing the World's Strongest Man again and not giving the athletes any events until the day they show up?"
So I totally
and taking away equipment, so knee sleeves, elbow sleeves, all that stuff, taking away everything.
See, I don't think Jeff Capes should have even said that because back in the day, they were allowed all that stuff. They still wore them.
But also, the weights were
way
immensely lighter than now. And as Brian Shaw also said, yeah, it is. If they can make the weights the same as that particular time's weights, then sure, we'll take away the safety equipment and we can have an unbalanced log and stuff like that. But the weights are so heavy, we actually need that stuff now. And if you think about it, I think let's take about 20 years ago. What weight were they doing at World's Strongest Man for the farmer's carry? I think it was around 120, 130 kilograms per hand.
Oh, a very clear example of this is if you look at their yoke, they used to use for like a decade. They converted it to a frame carry. So the same amount they used to yoke, they're now frame carrying. It's the exact same apparatus. They just changed the connection.
Jeez.
So like the 850-pound yoke now became the 850-pound farmer's carry. It's the one with the big red beams you see all the time. It's usually in like, a medley. Now it's even in a medley. Like the heavy yoke is now an 850-pound farmer's carry that's almost always medley. Like that's how that progression has gone.
And let's say 20 years ago, basically, with the farmer's carry, it was around 130 kilograms per hand, which is, let's say around 280 pounds, 286 pounds, around there. And that's what the under 80 kilogram athletes are doing now in competitions.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing for under 80 and under 90 kilogram athletes now in South Africa.
It's insane. The weight differences between then and
Yes,
now.
and if you think about it, when it was always open class. If you when they introduced the under 105 athlete category, the open class guys saw, listen, this lighter guys are actually competing against the same weights that we are, so we have to bump up the weights. So the open class got stronger, and then they introduced the under 90 kilogram division, which competed against the under 105s, so they had to get stronger. Then the under 80s came in, which started to compete against the under 90 kilogram athletes, so they had to get stronger. And now everything is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So the standard of the competitions and the weights are just getting insane at the moment. Which is
Yeah.
actually quite interesting if you think about it, because every time a lower division enters the strongman realm, everything moves up.
Yeah.
And it's just insane looking at the progression from being an open class athlete to seeing, let's say 20, 30 years ago, the lightweight guys are doing the same weights. It's insane to see that.
Yeah, I kind of like worlds where they know everything way ahead of time to see the big weights, especially even kind of more so on worlds, because that's where all the fun stuff you really see is in worlds, and so giving them a lot of time to prepare for it makes it even more interesting. But not knowing the events, it kind of just says you can't prepare, you just prepare raw strength. Like, I feel like that wouldn't necessarily be like out of place, just not something as big as like the Worlds or the Arnolds.
And because you have to guess the weight that you have to train on, and if you misguess the weight and you train maybe on something that's actually 50 pounds lighter, it's going to affect your competition.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's basically going to screw you. So looking just at that, I don't agree with that. And as Jeff Capes as well, according to that question, said standardizing the equipment. Back in his day, they had an unbalanced wooden log.
Yeah, they used to press like straight up log with handles cut into it.
Yeah, and it's an unbalanced log. If we do that today, something's going to pop.
Yep.
And most of the athletes are going to get hurt so badly.
Well, also back then, Strongman was just a TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's the thing. Other thing, when people talk about it's evolved into a legit sport where it used to just be like a TV show. Like most of the people there weren't strongmen; they were powerlifters or bodybuilders or whatever.
Football players,
thing,
American football players
competing, and it slowly evolved. And then from the TV show, it became a sport. So when it was just a spectacle TV show, I don't think I think it's better as a legitimate sport than just like a TV show to show in December.
I agree with that. I don't mind having it. I think it'd be neat. I kind of just agree with Brian Shaw by default on most things, but
on everything.
but no, if the weights were lighter, I think it would be interesting to see how strong like today's strongmen actually are, because when you don't know the weight of something, it adds a whole nother level of hard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even if it's lighter than something that like you would train for, if you don't know the weight of it, it's immediately takes you out of like a groove, because you're like, I don't know what I have to be able to do here. I think that would be neat to see with the lighter weight, so it is safer for the athletes. But because we're in a time where we like to see the heaviest weight moved, I think they absolutely cannot do it. The heaviest weight.
That is what strongman is about: to lift as heavy as possible, move as heavy as possible objects as fast, or
go ham for 30 to 90 seconds.
Yeah.
If
you take any other sport and tell those guys to do this, gonna be dead at the end of the day. Most of them won't even be able to finish. So I believe looking at the strongman and using these events and these types of weights really proves that we are the strongest men in the world.
Now here's a question, because this is one that everyone gives a different answer to, like Big Lugs to Big Z to Brian Shaw. No one can agree on this one. What is the perfect amount of events to determine who actually is the overall strongest man at the competition?
I think to basically, okay, that's just according to one event, so one competition.
So one competition, because I've heard like top level strongman say from some say 5, some said 6, some said as much as 12
I
to
would say
guarantee that you found, like, out of the event pool, that you had enough variety to get the overall strongest person.
I would say 7 events.
I'm not far off from that. I would say 8. And the whole time I'm going 8. I was just waiting. But yeah, 8. So 7 Marcus, 8 me. What do you think, Justin? How many events do you think it would take to prove who is truly the strongest?
First, honestly, 5. And just because I'm a world's strongest man has done 5 in the finals for a while, and I haven't really seen the strongest person not win.
Mm,
So I would look and see that they appear to be the strongest overall and them not win. But
I think if they start implementing 7 events and so on, it will really test the athletes' strength and endurance. And that's when, on those last 2 events, those extra 2 events, is going to determine who is actually the strongest person. Because being great at 5 events it's good, but being great at 7 events,
yeah,
still keeping your strength, keeping your endurance, and battling it out until you basically know it's your limit.
I
So
will
if
say
you can push your limits in 7 events and push beyond your own limits in 7 events, I'd say the winner in that is the strongest man.
yeah.
I do think when they dropped from 6 events down to 5 for the finals, they just killed the squat. Because I haven't really seen a 5 event finals or 5 event competition ever include a squat. Like, it seems like they basically just cut the squat movement and removed that sector. So if you're really powerful in that, having a 7 event competition could really make a huge difference.
And because most of the competitions in South Africa, basically, Africa's Strongest Man, last year we did 4 events on the first day and 3 events on the second day. So that's 7 events. At the previous Africas, we did 7 events as well. We had actually a 3-day competition, which we started with 2 events on the first day, 3 events on the second day, and I know we had 8 events that year.
That's what Big Lugs, I think I remember him saying he liked 8 events.
I like 8 as well, because you can do some not as taxing events. So one that it's taxing, like squat, you could add. That's already put you back to 6. Hammer hold, which they don't always do at World's Strongest Man. They used to always do a hold of some sort. There's 7.
They can do that.
What's that?
No, they can do that as well, or do it like a car hold again, which they did last year, I think. So that's one type of hold. So I'd say put in a deadlift, because a deadlift, no matter what deadlift it is one of the main events. A pressing event, log press or axle press. Do a tire flip event or medley with a tire flip in. Do a truck pull. Hand over hand or with a harness and a rope. Throw in a squat if you really want to, or let's say throw in a squat, or maybe do a.
Well, yeah, strongman's always been squat for reps. I don't think they've ever done a max squat or super heavy squat. Or
even do a farmer's carry again. Farmer's carry and yoke medley. That can be 5th event or 6th event. 5th event.
Did you throw in your stones yet? Because there's got to be stones in every strongman competition.
Stones obviously lost the last event, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, what can we actually put in?
So we got deadlift.
Deadlift. Okay, let's say a deadlift event, a pressing event, a throwing event actually. Kick
Yeah.
over bar.
You didn't say throwing yet, but I was gonna throw.
Yeah, because you always have a
Fair.
throwing event. You'd always have a medley of some sort, whether it's a
Yeah.
pressing medley or whether it's like a farmer's frame
Carry medley.
carry medley. There's gonna be some medley.
Yeah, so let's put it that way: deadlift, overhead press, carry medley. You can do a tire flip. You can do a truck pull. You can do a throwing event like keg over bar throw. Or, yeah, different kegs throwing over the bar, stones.
So that's
And
7.
That's 7. If you really want to go for 8, then
Squat for reps.
squat for reps.
And even in
Or
that,
do-
even in the 6, the 7 that you mentioned, you didn't mention the final of the Atlas Stone. So the 7 you mentioned, and then add Atlas Stone load
No,
at the end.
he
And
had stones for 7.
I said stones for 7.
Yeah.
But you can actually do thimble finger skin, which is, I won't say
I like
it's
the powers. I like the what's it called? Power
power
steers.
stairs. Power
Which
stairs can also be thrown in.
it seems to fall. It's been falling out of fashion lately, but I kind of like that one where you're carrying it up the top, and there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, with my height, actually, it would be a massive disadvantage for me.
You short then?
Do they lower the stairs for different weight classes, weight divisions?
No.
Because then at that point it's just like up to your shoulders because these guys are like giants.
No, but they say that if you have a strong deadlift, then the power stairs are going to be easy. Yeah, it might be easy, but dude, if the power stairs are half your body height,
That would be.
You got to clean and press instead of just deadlift.
Atlas stone, clean and press it up.
That would be funny. Comically large stairs for an Atlas stone load, where you got to load it up like what 46 inches,
They
and then
did
go up
that.
and load it up 46 inches.
They did that not too long ago. I was just watching the thing. Some of the earlier Atlas Stone loads, they were like, I mean,
Yeah, you
the
actually
guys
have to
were-
press the stone.
yeah, they were like,
But
get it up against it, and then kind of like
that
press
was in
/ roll it up.
2009, 2010 even. So I had to do that.
Okay, so
But-
yeah,
but
that wasn't
if you-
even that long ago.
If I'm going to compete at official strongman games, the last event mostly is power stairs as the last event. It's either Atlas stones or a power stairs, and that's why I'm saying that I'm aiming to be in top 10. Wherever I'm going to be on the last event, I will still be top 10 because I know I'm going to lose the last event because of my height.
So yeah,
Oh, because you got stones or power stairs, so either way, you're hitting at a huge
No,
disadvantage.
if it's power stones, if it's power stairs, then I'll maybe lose the event. If it's Atlas stones, I believe I'm actually quite good at Atlas stones. I believe
Up to
I
what
have,
height? Or what platform?
well, at official strongman games, they normally go at the last platform is 1.3 meters. I think it's 1.3, 1.4 meters.
That's 4
So-
feet, 48 inches, maybe closer to 52 inches.
Yeah, it's around in that range. And I believe I can load up to a 140 kilogram stone onto a platform that high.
So you just gotta hope that there's no power stairs then, and you just hope you get the stones.
Yeah, I know it's gonna suck if we have power stones, and but yeah, still have to get there. So
So what would the highest platform be then? At what would you say the
I
highest
think
platform?
it's 1.7 or 1.8 meters.
That's like 5 feet. So it looks like it goes 4 feet, 4.5 feet, 5 feet, give or take an inch or two.
Well, I'm. Let's see. If you look at my height, because I am 168 centimeters. I want that in. I'm 5'5".
You're 5'5".
I'm 5'5". So the largest platform will basically be about 5'9".
Man, that sucks.
You're really good at long press though, so you have great pressing power. You're good.
Well, I can overhead press a 75-kilogram stone, so yeah,
Well, there you go.
at arm's length, it's about there.
Oh, dude, I just got some cores for pressing. I got a 70-pound core, a 90-pound core, and then we have a 125-pound core at the office. And those are just concrete cylinders.
Okay.
Because our partner company, like we do radar imaging and we locate stuff in concrete, and then they core the holes so you can run lines from one floor to another. And yeah, so I got a nice like set of cores to start pressing. Probably a little bit later than I was wanting to, but it would be interesting because there's nothing quite like there's no circular cylinder really that people press. I thought it'd be a fun thing to try, but
I use some of those for grip. Actually,
you got
I have a couple.
concrete cores?
Yeah, I have a couple. They're not very big.
Oh no, yeah, we do that in the office too. Like who can just grab the top of the core and lift up the heaviest core?
Yeah, I actually do that for grip and do that for. 'Cause I have two of them here at home. I actually stole them from my brother because he has them around his house, and I actually took them from him, and I wanted them solely for grip because it even takes my hand and it puts my hand about there to just grip it.
It'd be interesting to see those like thrown, like those smaller cores. I'd like to see that thrown or something. But yeah, I got a set of those to start pressing.
I just want a 45-pound bumper plate, then I'm happy.
45-pound bumper?
Yeah, then I'm happy because with the grip, and you can actually train your grip because if you grab the plate like that and just turn it like a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that you can train your grip both ways.
Can you do the flip and catch?
On a 45?
With a 15-kilogram, yes.
So that's a 35-pound plate.
Yes.
Okay. I can actually do the 45-pound one. I tested it. I actually was just deadlifting with a couple of my buddies the other day, and we had bumpers. Yeah, and they had some bumpers, and I just grabbed because I don't even think about it. So, and it's a real thick bumper too. So, again, it's like that. Thick. Yeah, with my hand. So it's bam, and then I'll just grab it, and I was just carrying it over, and my one buddy looked at me and goes, "Oh, okay, strong man," because like I don't even think about it because I can just grab it. I can do the 45-pound flip and catch with both hands.
But that's always the main thing to say to someone that actually outperforms someone in strength. It's like, oh yeah, okay, fine, strong man.
That's what in that situation that's what they did.
I by just carrying plates, you get a good grip exercise.
Especially if you pinch them.
Yeah, and we have a lot of the metal plates that have like the big lip on it, like the big pan style plates. So I'll just carry them with like just my fingertips.
That's what I do with the 100s.
And you just hold your fingers at like a 45-degree angle. I just do that for just like passive grip. Just I always carry it where it's just purely like with my finger grip. Then, because I heard Gigi say he got all his grip strength just from moving plates around the gym.
I think that's how my grip actually started becoming better. Because I also take normal 45-pound plates, cast iron plates, just take them at the edges and work with them.
Yep.
That pinch grip, grip is something that you can go really intense with it, but really
it's time.
And it actually hurts when you lose grip and it falls on your toes. So.
Yeah, inspiration.
Like, why did you do that? I thought you loved me.
It's not always a mutual love relationship with plates. We've all experienced that.
Sometimes I wonder, the weights I kill in the gym, do they go to heaven?
It does feel good though when you get your deadlift up to the point where you look at the weight rack like for the deadlift and it's just empty. Like you've used all the plates in that corner of the gym.
Yeah, normally in the gym where I'm at, I have to run around the whole gym to gather plates because mostly it's either some of the stronger bodybuilders that trains at the same time as me, or if I train it in the evenings, there's a few power lifters there as well. So they're doing the squats or benches, and everybody's fighting for plates. So you have to run around the whole gym just to get plates.
I just checked the leg press machine. That's not where I find all the plates in the entire gym.
I know that the leg press is also fight for plates at that times, mostly. Especially when I deadlift in the mornings. Well, if I go to the gym in the mornings, that's one of the first places I go for plates. And once I'm done there, there's almost no plates left. Then they come to me, oh, are you done yet? No, I still need plates.
That's at my gym. We usually take up the one where the squat rack, where deadlifting happens. There's like deadlift, and then there's a bench press, and then there's the monolift, all kind of like in this corner. And we'll be going across the gym just to grab our plates for deadlifts, and we'll just have them loaded up. People benching are like, here are these 45s because you need them. So,
I love that when it happens. Like,
I do too.
No, dude, you can use your plates. I'll wait for you. It's like, no, take it. I'm like, okay, cool. What are you going to use? No, I'll use the 10s. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
I enjoy that whenever people are like, you know what, I wanted to bench today. I'm just gonna go set up in like one of the squat racks, like one of the other racks to bench.
Yeah,
Because you guys are busy right now.
It started happening with me recently. I was finally getting up to the weights where people actively watch between their sets. They're like, oh, let me see this.
I have to say, in our gym, if people see you every week doing your heavy weights, they start to not notice you anymore. It's when you start helping the bodybuilders to actually get stronger. That's when they start watching again. Because one of my friends, he is a good-looking, big competitive bodybuilder as well, and his brother also does bodybuilding competitions in China. Well, did in China and overseas, and he would have gone this year as well to compete in, I think, in Japan. But his max squat was 160 kilograms, and that's a guy that works for Qatar. And he injured his knee running towards a plane when someone fell out of the plane.
4 plates.
Hey.
Oh no, I was just giving the conversion. I 4 plates.
But yeah, so I know that's 3 plates and
like a 3 plate. Okay.
3 plates. Yeah. It'd be 3 plates and a 25 in American numbers on either side.
But he injured his leg or his knee while doing his work, basically, and he struggled to squat 60 kilograms, 135. And I told him that one day, come squat with me. I'll check your form. I'll correct everything where I see that you need help and all that. With his bad knee, he squatted his 135, and he said, okay, no, with his new form and technique that I showed him, he didn't feel any pain in his knee. And we went up to his 160 kilogram PR, which he did for a double, and then went for a 180 kilogram PR, which he also did for a double, and then ended with his top set on a 200 kilograms for 40 pounds, which he did for a single. So I got him from a 160 PR with a bad knee to a 440 pound PR. And that was in one session. His deadlift was, what was his deadlift? 140 kilogram max.
So
yeah, his deadlift 300 pounds around. And on that same day that I actually just tweaked his form and his technique a bit, he lifted a 440-pound deadlift. So that's a 60 kilogram, 135-pound PR, just on deadlift for one day.
See,
And that's when people actually started to watch again, because they noticed, hey, this guy's getting strong, so there's something new to look at. And I just did the 440 for a few reps, and he couldn't believe that I do it so easily, and he almost died on the 440 pounds. And then I went up to 260 kilograms, the 573 pound, and just did one rep on that. And it looked like that was also without a suit, and it looked like he's 440 pound. Well, easier than his 440 pound. And the one guy that actually joined us with that session, he almost popped his back on the 440 pound.
Oh, Jesus.
But also a bodybuilder. So that's also where I love this saying from some of the powerlifters and the strongmen as well. It doesn't matter how big your muscles are. How do they say it? It doesn't matter how big you are. If you're big, doesn't mean that you're strong.
It's really hard to gauge with bodybuilders, because some of them are massive and can move massive weights. Some are massive, and then you see them try to one rep max, and you're like, "That's it, all that for that."
Yeah.
Like, dude, let me show you with my warm up. Okay, cool. I'll do it quickly.
Really talking
But
like a
like-
massive bodybuilder, like, yeah, I'm working up to 3 plates. You're like, that's it.
Yeah, but with the same guy, his squat and his deadlift is basically shit, both on a 440-pound PR now. But he bench presses for reps, sets and reps, 350 pound.
Jesus.
His upper body is insanely strong. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how his upper body is that strong, but still, just comparing bodybuilders to, let's say, powerlifters and strongmen. Bodybuilders are the bigger guys, but people always think, yes, this guy is so big, he must be this strong. And then you see people like us who walk around with our power bellies, and we're not as cut as let's say our muscles are not as cut and lean as bodybuilders. And they just think, what can you do? And then you show them what you can do in the gym, and they can't believe it. Like, oh wow, how are you that strong? Focus on strength. I don't focus on looking pretty.
Abs are not sign of power. Abs are sign you don't eat enough.
That's it.
Yes.
And
Well, I love
I've
JF Crow to
actually-
this day.
I stopped caring about having abs quite a long time ago.
I accepted defeat and just realized I'd never have them. I was just always like, it's just not gonna happen for me. I like food too much. I'll just be strong.
Are you gonna do the Eddie Hall thing though? Is when you're finally done competing to do that one cut just to see like what it looks like?
Probably for me. I know that's kind of my plans. I have some things I want to win. After I win those things, I am gonna just cut down to however light I can get. That's a maintainable lightness, like weight wise, and whatever I look like at that point is just like, this is me. This is what I'm gonna just maintain now. Right now I could probably cut about 20-ish pounds and still be strong, but I don't have the dedication to cut the 20
I'm
pounds.
happy with my 194 pounds. But for the pound, I still want to see if I can be about 5 pounds lighter. Maybe.
So
I don't know.
you want to be 189 for your pound for pound? Or sorry, 189 pounds, so 85 kilograms.
Oh, at most. So at the lowest body weight, yes. But,
Yeah.
Even
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of formula they use, because on most of those formulas, no matter how much they skew it, it's usually the lightest guys usually come out on top.
Well, if you look at the numbers at the moment,
Do they give the overall scores at the moment of anyone?
yeah, they do. I'm just gonna go into the website because
Yes, even 20 pounds, I would be 131 kilograms roughly. If I cut 20 pounds, I'd be around 130-ish kilos.
well, it's still a good weight. Well, for a strongman, open class strongman, still a good weight.
But that would still keep me in open class, so I'd still be going. Even if I would have thought about doing what you're doing, Marcus, I could have maybe cut to that, which is 290 pounds.
You just got to 270 to drop any weight class.
270, oh man, that's just so much weight to lose. I don't even know. Yeah.
South Africa's strongest powerlifter at the moment. He's the first South African to total over 1,000 kilograms in powerlifting competition. He's now, I think, 24, 25 years old. He weighs 270 pounds.
So
But also, he looks like a fucking bodybuilder.
Probably looks like Nom. Because that seems like a very Nom thing to be like really.
I think he looks bigger.
the Nom?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, really, just go look at him. Go search for Nicolas de Pre. That guy's insane.
There's no way I'm gonna know how to spell that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, wait, let me send you a message in Discord. And there you go. And I'll send it to you as well.
All right.
Wow, yeah, that was not gonna happen.
Okay, so the overall score at the moment, there's this guy, he weighs 95 kilograms. His score is 923.2 on the rankings. So he's at number 1 at the moment. His deadlift is sitting at 365 kgs. 365 is 805 pound. And his overhead press is sitting on the 304 pounds. At a body weight of 210 pounds. So that's the guy that's at the moment in top rank. But yeah, like I said earlier, that most of the guys, I think, is just posting videos of their top weights and seeing where they are in the rankings, but not actually submitting valid videos.
They're filling out the competition to see what they need to hit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's insane. Like the top 10 guys, the last time I checked, the top 10 guys, there were only 4 people that actually had valid videos.
Are you gonna fill that out, or are you just gonna wait for the last day and then just see what numbers you need to hit?
I'm just gonna go for what I feel I can do and train for my max weights. I'm doing it raw, and once I actually do that, then I'll post my videos. But I did a 260 kilogram deadlift the other day, weighed everything, weighed myself, and the video didn't want to submit, so I don't know. I'll just try with the heavier weight then. So like I said, tomorrow I'm getting 2 plates that weighs 72 pounds each.
That's a weird weight.
I know, it's awesome.
So are they just concrete plates or something, or?
No, it's steel plates.
But does that make sense in kilos?
It's 33 kilos a plate.
So that doesn't make
sense at all. It
That's
doesn't make
such
sense
a
at all,
weird weight. Yeah.
but still, it's going to be a little bit of an advantage, I hope, with doing my weights.
Oh, because then, yeah, 30.
I'll just still see it as a
That's like a 25 kilo plate.
maybe. I'll see. But basically, when I go to the gym and deadlift at the gym itself, I put two 10-kilogram bumper plates on, well, one on each side. So 10-kilogram bumper plate on each side, and then I put my 45 pounds next to that. So my first warm-up lift is basically 80 kilograms, which is 176 pound. So that's my warm-up set, my first
Mhm.
set in deadlifts. And everything from there, I just keep building up. So I'll just basically do the same with this weights and implement it as the same way. Because if I start with that, it's basically going to be around 86 kilograms, 190 pounds as my first lift or first warm-up set, basically. So yeah, and then I'll just take it from there and see where it goes.
Yeah, because you have a real shot at placing really high on that.
I hope so. As long as I can beat top 10, which I'm aiming for, then I'm happy. But I want to be at least top 5, top 6.
I wonder if a lot of weight classes like the ultra heavyweight or heavyweight are just not even going to enter.
There are a lot of them that actually entered or submitted some of their videos. A lot of them submitted invalid videos, just I think also to see where they rank, and then they started seeing that the lower or the lighter guys started outweighing them in the point system. So
real quick, where do I look that stuff up at? Because I'm interested just to see the numbers. So I apologize. I had some stuff going on here, and I had to like duck away for a minute.
just go to officialstrongman.com.
Okay.
And if you have an account, you can log in. Don't have an account, make one. And they have the rules and everything on there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess before we wrap up, I guess last thing is Feats of Strength Season 2 is coming. Is there
I saw
anything in
that.
particular that you really hope that they do this time that they didn't do last time?
There are quite a few things. Just not sure which one to pick first. But yeah, there are amazing things that you can actually look up. If you go to the feats of strength in the past, which have been done by old strongmen, there's one thing I actually want to see is the dumbbell, Louis Sears dumbbell. I want to see where it all came from, and I want to see the whole history of Louis Sears and how it became to be his dumbbell and all that. And also with other feats of strength, there's so many possibilities that they can actually do. And I think everything is going to be so interesting to see, and especially if they add a bit of history in that as well, and just get flippin' strong guys to attempt the feats of strength and maybe break the feats of strength records and so on. And yeah, there's actually so many things that they can do. It's nothing specific I want to see. I actually just want to see everything they can show, basically. What about you guys?
On like World Ultimate Strongman, the next season, I kind of want to see I want to see log press, but I want to see it in one of two ways. I want to either see Rob Carney, Robert Oberst, and Brian Shaw, or Adam Bishop, Tom, and Luke Stallman. So they can have 3 people together going for it. Where last time there was a lot of solo, where I feel like either of those 2 groups has potential to break the world record.
I agree with I want to see the log press the way you just described it, because I want Oberst to. I love Oberst. I want him to actually go for it.
I've been slowly losing confidence in Overs because, like, I don't have any reason to disbelieve him when he's saying he's better pressing now than he ever was. And he said that he could go out and hit the record like tomorrow if he wanted to, but he hasn't actually filmed like a 1 rep max or a heavy PR and log in quite some time.
Maybe
so I'm not 100% sure where he's at. Like, if he's at where he claims he's at, then he would be right in their contention to get the world record.
See, Oberst needs to start putting something up there, because it's like
he's posting a lot of different videos at the moment,
and none of them really showing anything heavy. Even when he's doing like his blog, like ones where he's at the gym, he's doing like his lower reps, or he's doing his high rep stuff. Like the last video he made, it was like he had 2. It was just incline bench, like 225 for like a retarded amount of reps, but no like 1 rep max anything. It could just be that he knows he has it and he's just waiting for a competition to bust it out if he's so confident. But I would just like to see some confirmation. But if he's where he is, if he's where he says he is, and Carney's what, 20 pounds, 25 pounds off the world record now, and Brian Shaw has done nothing but train pressing for the last like 4 months.
I think Brian is actually training a lot more than we know. But
I do too.
He's only showing, because he started with the process of his bench press, so that's what people are mostly interested in. So he's showing that, and then few Q&As around here and there, and he's not really showing what he's training for World's Strongest Man or his other training sessions.
It would be a good tactic to, as a strongman, show all your training videos around bench press, so a completely useless metric for people to figure out where you're at and still release content.
Strongest Man, you just attack everything and you win.
Yeah, I think Shaw's doing that too. Because he's only been showing his pressing, he's not showing any strongman implements. So I think Shaw's very much keeping that on the DL.
If you do that, the 3 of them, do you throw in Julius Maddox as like his strongman debut and throw him in the 4? Because he has no.
You and Julius Maddox, Justin.
I've just never seen stronger shoulders or pressing power on any human being ever.
Yeah,
I've never seen stronger bench pressing power on any human.
He does incline a lot, all over his Instagram.
Yeah, but if you think about him, I'm actually doing like strongman implements at the moment. He had the one video where he did his seated log presses, and he said that the implement itself is very uncomfortable for him. So it's going to take some time for him to get used to just the whole implement itself. So I think we can count him out doing a log press or heavy log press at the moment. But yeah, maybe he can surprise us. But there's still
it'd be justice in
athlete.
Yeah.
There's still one athlete that everybody wants to see perform in a proper competition, and I believe he's going to be at Europe's Strongest Man, or when there's a max deadlift or max log competition. Ivan Makarov.
He is. I don't know why he hasn't done anything yet.
I hope in the next season of the Feats of Strength, he's going to be included in the max deadlift maybe, or something like that, or even with the max log press. I don't care what it is, as long as he's in there to prove himself to the world who he is and what he can do, because he has the most potential at the moment to break the world record deadlift. And with the way he's training his phases, it's flipping weird actually to see how he's training with his different phases. Like he'll do a phase 1, which is max deadlift attempts and a log for reps. Then phase 2 is just switched around. Then phase 3 back to max log, max deadlift, max reps on the log, and so on. So that's how he keeps training, and his deadlift and his log press just starts to get insane after a while. I think he before he attempted the 501 pull, he stopped at a 220 kilogram log in his videos or something, and he did that effortless. So I think.
Do you think he's a better presser than Iron Bibby?
No.
Yeah, Bibby is someone I see. Bibby never seems to show up in competition.
But these feats of strength could be his bread and butter.
Feats of strength to be like his thing. Though he's kind of against them, I think. But I think everyone sort of just settled in. It's like, all right, they're here. This is happening. So maybe in season 2 be more likely. But yeah, I want to see something from him. Same thing with I kind of want to see Jerry Pritchett go for 1 rep max instead of for reps.
I think with the 1 rep max at the moment, Jerry Pritchett will not get more than a 440, 450 kilogram.
I don't think Pritchett's where he used to be.
No, he's getting too old.
I think he's.
I love Jerry Pritchett. He's an amazing person as well, and amazing athlete. But I think he's getting a bit old now. Personally, when he competes here at Arnold's, we actually sit and talk a lot, just about random training stuff and so on. I like picking people's brains, and he's one of the friendliest strongmen that's actually, or pro strongman athletes that's actually at the Arnold's Classic. So I love talking to him, and and my girlfriend actually took a Snapchat selfie with him with cat ears, and he actually thought it was funny. So I think if you do that with like someone with like Gilliskowski, then he's just gonna be mean to you.
Maybe
Gilliskowski is scary.
He's not very approachable. He seems like he wouldn't be very approachable, but like some of the behind the scenes stuff you see of him, he actually doesn't seem like a bad dude. Like I don't think he's a bad dude or anything. I think he's not as approachable as
most of the time behind the scenes stuff. But if he's in a competition sitting one side alone, you feel so obligated not to look into his general direction because you're scared of what he's going to do. But he just seems like you said, he just seems unapproachable. And even last year when I actually met him for the first time and wanted to ask him for a photo, dude, can I please? I just don't know what to say. I don't know what your reaction going to be. Don't hit me, please. And like always, he doesn't even smile in the photo. So.
Oh yeah.
I've only ever seen him smile like twice.
Twice.
Well, twice during like a competition. I've seen a couple times behind the scenes, but the first time was when he won World's Ultimate Strongman. Like he had to smile. He couldn't hold it in.
Comfortable smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes more muscles to frown than to smile. So I think he's constantly frowning and working that muscles.
Probably.
Working on his gains.
That's right.
And he starts every day with the donut.
Oh, that's awesome. I won't mind.
Donut and coffee every day.
Imagine that.
He wouldn't be approachable. Martins Lisi's, I think, would be fairly approachable.
I feel like he'd be approachable, but also swamped with other people.
Yeah.
I think Brian as well, actually. I haven't met him yet, but I think if he competes at competition where I'm at, or if he's around the area or something, I'll definitely go up to and talk to him. Try to pick his brain a bit as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many strongmen that you can actually learn a lot from. Last year we saw Pat O'Dwyer, Patrick O'Dwyer. He also was at Arnold's Africa, but also sat alone one side. He said he didn't feel well. right throughout the whole competition because he felt a bit sick since they landed in South Africa and didn't really get a lot of attention from everybody that was around him, supporters and other strongmen. And my girlfriend said, "Listen, we saw you sitting here alone, and she didn't say that we felt sorry for him because no one wants a photo with him. So we just went and asked him for a photo and also a Snapchat photo with him. And then, we just stood next to him talking a bit and so on. And also a very nice person, actually. Novikov and Shevlikov, they look, well, Shevlikov looks a lot more approachable than Novikov, but if you ask them for a photo, they will probably not smile. And my girlfriend had to tell them, "Listen, just smile for the photo, please."
Well, it's that Eastern European thing. You can't smile.
Yeah, apparently.
You can't smile or process pain.
Yeah, but like I said, I think they're just working the
They're
frown
frown-
against.
Yeah, just working that, getting that jawline strong. Yeah. Novikov would be one that I'm not a huge Novikov fan in any realm. It's just,
I don't know. I haven't really tried to talk to him or anything because I don't know if he knows any English, or if he does, it's very little English, so it doesn't help to actually approach him.
I would like to
This
get a
is for a
picture.
photo.
I'd like to get a picture with him because he's 6'1", 320 pounds. I'm 6'1", 310 pounds. So I'd like to just stand beside him.
Yeah.
Shevlikov and Novikov were sitting next to each other, and I just went and ducked between them for a photo. So but if you look at someone like Gerard van Staden, who's a pro strongman here in South Africa as well, Johan Els, who was a pro strongman in South Africa, I had a photo between them, and it's two ginormous guys, and I just look like a little wannabe strongman between them. So I can just imagine if I get a photo with someone with the likes of Brian Shaw, or maybe with I won't want a photo with Thor, but with Thor as well.
I love how much hate you have for Thor. I appreciate it.
I've always been on the Brian Shaw bandwagon and the Eddie Hall bandwagon, so by default, I've always been other team. So he's always been like the villain for me, even before I started training.
I actually supported him until 2017 World Strongest Man, when he just went all ape shit when he lost his he got his CC fit, and then that's at that moment I just thought he lost my support. Eddie Hall, go.
Yep.
So and as an athlete, I can't stand him.
I just the stories were
I'm
like
in that same camp.
I don't know who was.
I think Thor would be a decent human. I just not as an athlete. Don't like him as an athlete.
As a human, maybe yes, but I also think that fame has gotten to his head a bit too much with the Game of Thrones and everything. But yeah, I believe he's still sort of humble or in his own way. So I believe as a human being, he's a nice person, but as an athlete, he's one of the least like athletes in my book.
Yeah.
And how he would have the largest entourage, or someone was saying they went and they did their event and they came back and there was no seats left in the competitors area because it was just like all of Thor's team.
No, that's bad.
Yeah.
I have my girlfriend. That's it. She takes my videos at competitions, and then I have the support of the other strongmen that's there. That's all I need.
So you're saying you don't need 27 people?
I don't need 27 people. I actually need two. My girlfriend, who supports me and takes my videos, and one of the guys that got me into strongman. at my second Africa Strongest Man. We did Atlas Stones for reps, and I was shit at Atlas Stones. Like really, it was my worst event. And for some reason that day, Atlas Stones became one of my best events. And I think the only reason is this particular person who got me into Strongman was sitting at the back of the crowd, in the back corner. Everybody shouting, "Go Marcus, go, get that rep," whatever. Everybody shouting, but the only person's voice I heard was his, shouting advice: "Do this, breathe now, do this." And I got almost 8 reps in 90 seconds on a 120 kilogram stone. And yeah, I think that's the day my girlfriend actually also noticed that it doesn't help to shout or shout support at me, because I don't know, it was before that, sorry. But yeah, she noticed that it doesn't help to keep shouting and supporting, because once I'm actually in the lift, I just zone out. I can't hear anything. But unless that guy's there, he always shouts the best advice for me. So, and I'll look up to him always, because he's one of the best strongman in South Africa, and he got me into strongman. He helped me grow as a strongman as well. Amazing person. And yeah, I won't say he's a coach, but I'll consider him as a coach.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, mostly it's just his voice I hear in competitions. I just zone out of everybody else.
Yeah. So, it's been over 2.5 hours. I think it's a good place to wrap up for now. But I really want to have, I really want to have you and Nam back, or want to at the same time. That would be a really interesting conversation to sit in on. But,
yeah.
And then I can actually pick his brain about powerlifting as well, because I'm not good at powerlifting, but I'm not bad either.
So hopefully we can set that up pretty soon. I'll catch you guys next podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Justin. We'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome.